So the production for this short film was quite crazy. I'd written the script a good deal ahead of time, a good few months before we ever started filming it, I believe, was when the first draft was done, and then I'd done a couple of revisions leading up to when we did start filming. And I knew I was going to need a lot of time, for post-production, because there was a great number of things that I wanted to do. So that was kind of the main thing that forced us into a crunch for production and for the principal shooting. So with that being said, shooting, it was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of stress at the same time, and a lot of pressure to try and get this thing done in time, especially since we wanted to distribute this in a very unique way. Not only did we want to have this uploaded on the 31st on Halloween, but we also wanted to have this premiere, basically, where we would screen it live on our Twitch stream during our all-day Halloween extravaganza that we were having on the 30th. So there was that added, there was a real deadline, not only to have it done in time for Halloween, but also done in time for that stream the day before. And so all these things were contributing to this crunch, and we wanted to get principal photography done as soon as possible, and ultimately we did. So going into post-production, there was a good number of things that I wanted to do for this one. First of all, I wanted to do full color correction for the entire film, which I don't know if I'd ever really had the chance to do prior to this project, aside from maybe Showdown. Showdown was the first full short film production that we did in which I'd used DaVinci Resolve to color all the footage, but that was like sort of a warm-up. I hadn't really had a lot of experience in coloring at that particular point in time, and I think I'd gotten experience from a few more projects between that and Antithesis, but still I wanted to look, I wanted it to look cinematic, and I wanted it to look aesthetically pleasing, in addition to trying to do good photography and cinematography during the shooting. I wanted the finished product to look cinematic, and so I put in the crop and I put in the coloring, and I tried to use various techniques that I'd picked up. I lowered some gamma, I tried to do some deep blacks and upped the gain, and ultimately I think I got something that was pretty much in line with what I was looking for. And then also some of the scenes, by the way they're photographed, didn't really require a whole lot of coloring, like the phone call conversation. Same with the writing sequence, when my character is up in the room by himself working on writing and working on the novel, that we pretty much worked with a whole single point lighting setup that you could actually see in the shot. That little lamp on the desk was the only lighting we worked with, and we closed all the blinds and made everything else dark and just created this atmosphere in the shot before it ever got to coloring. And of course, coloring the climactic sequence in that room was extremely difficult. Pretty much the only source of lighting in that room were these lamps along the top of the walls that shine towards the ceiling and then bounced off of that. And it looks alright when you're in the room, but when you're trying to shoot on camera, that doesn't necessarily come off so well, and especially, with the camera we were shooting on didn't necessarily have the best low light performance. But we made do, and I tried to correct as much of it in post as I could, but that was definitely a challenge to work around. It's our longest and, I think, in my personal opinion, most ambitious project so far. I knew after I penned the
most complete project we've done.
Definitely most complete is how I would word it. I knew when I penned the final words of the script that this, I thought to myself, if we do go all the way through with this, and if we finish this will definitely be the biggest thing I've ever written that ever came to fruition.
Yeah.